Hello, Calm here, and welcome back to RimWorld. So where we left off, we had pretty much just put our stockpiles and a throwing zone and some beds and a wall to protect us. We've not really done much or achieved much in the long side of things. I don't know what the phrase is. We haven't really achieved much. What we need to do is we need to get a meal source. Now we can either use a nuclear paste dispenser or a cook stove. To be able to put those in, we need power. So our main aim is to get power and hopefully a meal source done in this episode. We'll have to see, depending on time constraints. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to keep it paused. I'm actually going to plan out how everything's going to look like before we unpause it and get them constructing it. Now I have been playing another game as well. Well, not another game, this game, but in another world. And I actually managed to achieve quite a lot in 1 month. So by February the 3rd, I had power, I had houses, and hopefully we can beat that. Maybe, maybe not, because I did get them constructing stuff quite quickly. The first thing we need to do is we need to get out the batteries. So if we go into power, because we're not going to put the batteries here, we're actually going to build something around them, but I just want to make sure that it is laid out in the correct manner. So what we really need is we need 2 batteries there, on either side. We need a wall on there. So if we do this, then what we need is, we actually need to put some standing lamps to light the place up. And then we can go into production and put a cook stove and a butcher's table. Now I don't know if they'll interfere, so I might put the butcher's table outside because it doesn't actually need to be inside. Come on, I need a place where it looks, where it doesn't destroy OCD. Come on. I may just mine one of those pieces out. Yeah, we'll do this, and then we can get them to mine there, and it doesn't destroy my OCD. So then what we'll need to do is we'll need to put a wall around to go on there, so we're going to need to mine out all of this. Then we're going to need a space for a standing lamp there, and a wall there, so we actually can cancel that. And then we can build the rest of the wall round, put a door in, and voila! We have our power and food source all sorted. Now this is going to be a bit different, so I just switched from commentary while I was recording to post commentary. Because the commentary I did at this part, I just gone off and sneezed for the way, and I just come back. The commentary I did at this part sort of really turned out completely terrible, and so I was like, I tried to edit it in Audacity to try and get it working, but it didn't work, and so I ended up with really terrible audio. So this is post commentary. This is a bit different. I'm thinking about doing post commentary for the rest of the RimWorld episodes because I feel it works well, as it is quite a slow paced game to start. I think it'll work well in sort of recording it and then doing the post commentary afterwards and cutting and just including the interesting parts. So what you're seeing at the moment is we're just laying out the plans for the actual construction of the powerhouse basically. There's going to be some batteries in there. The full aim of the full plan, where it will eventually be like, is there'll be 4 batteries, a cook stove, 4 standing lamps, 2 on either side to mark the sort of make it light throughout the whole building. Now this is really hard doing this sort of post commentary, and I've got to think about what's happening on the screen as well, and try and sort of keep up with it because I don't know what I'm thinking then, because I can't think backwards that far because I'm not a smart man. So that is a thing. So I've got to actually look at what I'm doing and commentate on what I'm doing as opposed to what I'm thinking. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually putting down wood floors. Now I'm just recording this, I'm looking at my Audacity and there seems to be a lot of pops. I'm going to have to be able to edit out, which is great. Even though I have a pop filter on my mic, I thought that would probably help in some aspects, but it isn't. So anyway, we're putting down the wood floors because I want everything to be nice and homely. I like it all looking nice. I don't really care about speed. There is I believe you can put stone flooring, which is both speed and beauty. But that requires us getting a stone table, which requires us to research it, and we haven't got to that point yet. So that's down the line. At the moment, we're now editing all of the different stats and making sure, well, not those different stats, the different priorities, and making sure we're focusing on the right ones. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run through the different priorities and what they all mean. So firefighting is obviously catching out, putting down all the fires. Then you have doctoring, I believe, which is basically healing. You have warden, which is when you get a prisoner, you put them into a separate room where you mark the beds as prisoner beds, and then you set someone to be the warden. Now what the warden does is the warden can do several things. The warden can beat them up, so you can set them to beat them up and be horrible to them and abuse them. You can set the warden to chat to them and be friendly and give them food, and try and persuade them to join you. Or you can just plain out execute them. And he just goes in there. I haven't actually tried execution, but the premise is probably you go in there and shoot them. And now I just got off of it because I spent time talking about the warden, and I can't remember all of them. I'm going to go through the ones I can remember. There's construction, which is pretty simple. The building stuff, repairing, you repair things. Then there's cleaning, which means you clean up all the dirt and stuff off the ground, but only if you've marked it as a home sort of space. There is how you mark zones, you mark a home zone as well. But I think I have it on automatic home zoning, so every time there's construction, about 3 blocks away from the construction is marked as a home zone. Well, up to 3 spaces. So then they'll start cleaning out that, if they were cleaning. So as you can see, they've already constructed the floors, and they've just got to mine out the walls, and they've also put down the butcher's table, which we'll use to butcher some of the meat we have in our storage pile. Now I'm actually feeling, at the moment, I'm feeling sort of pretty cool about myself. I'm feeling like I'm commentating sort of a matchup, except it isn't a very exciting, well, it is an exciting game, but it is an exciting match where it's all tense and there's fighting going along and people are trying to compete with each other. But I might actually try that. That is a good idea. I may get some footage of people playing against each other and do some commentary. Oh, that'll be sick. Yeah. I'm feeling it now. I am feeling the post-commentary stuff. So here we go. Here is whoever, because I can't see the name because it's too small in the screen I'm looking at, is mining all the stuff up. This is pretty hard, I have to admit. Doing post-commentary is pretty difficult. So I'll probably have to sort of watch it. What I should have really done in hindsight is watch the video, put down some notes, and then got off the notes because I would have seen what was happening. But I don't do hindsight. I just run in there and go for it and go head on and try and work out what is happening because I am not that smart. So we're just zooming in and we're looking at the stats of someone. No, we're constructing. We're doing the walls. This is the part where we're putting up the walls for the building. What we're going to do is we're going to miss out one of the blocks. Oh yeah, there's power conduit. Those are the cables. Even when you're building wooden buildings, there is power conduits going through them. But I believe stone ones don't, and metal ones obviously do. Now, we're going to leave a gap. The reason we're going to leave a gap is, well, we left 2 gaps on the right side. There's one for the door, and one is going to be for the wall. We didn't put it there because otherwise they could build the 2 walls and miss out the corner wall, and it wouldn't be there, and it wouldn't be finished. So I have to make sure that I leave that gap so they can do that first. Otherwise it happens. I don't know whether that's going to be something they sort out, whether it's going to be eventually that the AI will be smart enough and will go, okay, build this first and then this, or whether it's you've just got to take that time and leave that gap and then go back to it once they've constructed the other parts. So I believe this, is it now or is it going to be in a bit? This is really hard actually trying to pay attention to this. Okay, so in a minute what's going to happen is I'm going to do sort of, this is voodoo stuff here. In a minute, one of us is going to starve. One of the characters is going to starve, and that's because I didn't unlock enough food. I believe it's at this point, or it's just as the day that it passes into the next day. One of us starts starving, and that's because I didn't unlock enough food. Now, the reason what I just did there is I just set up to chop wood because we're running out of wood, so we can't finish all of the walls that we need to finish. And then when it comes up to daytime, I think that's when people start starving. That is to mine some more metal for all the metal materials, because we're going to need to have batteries, we're going to need to have solar panels, and we need to have the cook stove, and they're all made from metal. And we haven't got enough metal for even a solar panel at this point, I believe, because solar panels are about 300 metal, and we don't have that much just yet. And then we set off. Actually, no, I think I am quite ahead of myself here. I don't think we've started starving yet. We will start starving a bit. That is something that's going to happen. But I've just set people chopping up wood and getting everything ready. So the overall plan with this is this episode to get the power done. Oops, and one of the buildings is on fire. Oh no. Quickly someone go put that out, please. There we go. And see that part. That part was where I was smart and it sounded good. So we decided we had to name the colony because Little suggested, aha, we should name the colony something. And I'm like, okay, let's just go with whatever it suggests. And we went with Whiptown because that was what it suggested. And I wasn't being so creative at that point, so I couldn't come up with a better idea. So I was just like, yeah, let's just go with that. And there we go, we are starting starving. As you can see, I have red hearts going for me. And I move over, like, this is really good commentary by the way. I move over and hover over and highlight all of the different packaged survival meals, so they can go pick them up and go feed themselves. That really drives in that we need to get the growing done and get plants sorted and get the power sorted so we can start to make food. Because we do have food there, we just don't have the sort of stuff, we don't have the equipment to process it to the right standard at which it is a meal. So yes, basically the overall plan is this episode, power, next episode get the food sorted and hopefully construction for the buildings, for the houses. I'm hoping that I'm basically thinking about probably doing a sort of some background work, but the only problem with that is doing background work behind this, like behind the scenes work and working on that, is that sometimes there can be the issue where I can be doing that behind the scenes work and someone can have a mental break, or I need to get one of these things done first before I can do any background work. And so I think the best way to go around it is to basically record myself doing everything, but delete all the boring shit and then do the post commentary afterwards. I think that's probably a good idea. Probably a more interesting idea that would actually work with this series. With other series like The Forest and The Escapist, commentary as I go is better. Post commentary wouldn't work. But this is where I feel post commentary would probably come out in its own sort of shine and actually be important and be interesting to the viewer. More interesting and then just watching me go through absolutely everything. Because it also gives me time to basically look at what I touch on, and then post commentary I can do some wiki research and explain it in a better way. So this is, we've basically finished the building apart from two places, and then we're placing down all of the stuff to go inside the actual building, such as the battery and the cook stove and the standing lamp. And I think do we just leave it with one battery or do we put the second battery in? No, I just put one battery in and then we're putting only one of the solar panels. And we should have enough metal to complete all of that. And this is what happens when you don't keep on moving your mouse. Your screen turns off and I just had to stay on mouse. But we're fine, we're back, and they've gone to sleep. So that is cool. And who has forgotten to do the repairs on the building? Great one, guys. You are doing well. I would like to congratulate you on your amazing work and actually doing your repairs. Construct. Oh no, they're constructing. Okay, I'll leave you guys to construct. But next time, I should have really sorted out the repairs. That would have probably been a good thing to do. I think I can do it at one point. I think I actually right click and say, "Or you get those repairs done." So as you can see, we've got the solar panel, the batteries, and everything sorted. And that is actually pretty much it for this episode. We're getting close to the end, so I'm just going to wrap it up here. Thanks for watching. Next time we're actually going to look at actually doing the food and maybe the housing. But until then, thank you for watching. I've been Callum, and goodbye.